Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, Ajahn, we can hear Ajahn clearly. Can
I'm
Ajahn see
using,
us? Yeah.
yes, I'm using tablet today with a headphone.
Oh, okay, Ajahn.
Maybe you can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yes, Ajahn, we can hear Ajahn well.
Okay, good. You want me to start talking?
Can we pay respect to Ajahn first?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Brothers and sisters, let us all pay respect to Ajahn 3 times. First bow, second bow, third bow.
Okay, I have to adjust my camera stand.
Yes, Ajahn.
Okay, this is better than last time, right?
Yes, Ajahn, much better. Yeah. So we are ready, Ajahn.
Okay.
Sadhu.
How many of you are here tonight?
Tonight is about 65 for now. Maybe some will come late a bit later, Ajahn. So for now it's 65.
Wait, I'm speaking to you, Anna.
Yes. Yes, Ajahn.
Okay, now I can see you. Should I start talking first, or you want to ask some question?
Maybe Ajahn start to give some Dhamma teaching first, then we have questions later, Ajahn.
All right, I'll start.
Okay, Ajahn, Sadhu.
Like I said last time, when we listening to the Dhamma talk, we should concentrate on just listening. Don't pay attention to any other thing. Don't do anything. Don't talk. And don't think about other things. Just focus your attention at the Dhamma that you are listening. If you can do this, you will absorb the Dhamma into your heart. In listening to the Dhamma talk, you can achieve two different goals. One, if you cannot understand what you are listening, but you concentrate on listening to the voice of Dhamma, the voice of Dhamma can calm your mind, make your mind calm and peaceful. But if you understand the Dhamma talk, the reason, this and that, the cause and effect, then you can gain panya or insight or knowledge. The knowledge in Buddhism consists of 3 levels. The first level is called Sutta Maya Panya, knowledge that you learn from listening to a Dhamma talk. The second level of knowledge is called Cinta Maya Panya. This is the knowledge that you acquired by contemplating or thinking about Dhamma. And the third level of knowledge is called Bhavana Maya Panya, meaning the knowledge that you apply in eliminating your mental suffering, your stress, your anxiety and worry. See, the knowledge that you acquired from listening is not strong enough yet to eliminate the stress, the suffering in your heart. What you have learned, what you have heard, the next step is to contemplating these things that you have heard, so it stays with you in the mind. Once it stays with you in the mind, when you want to apply it to your elimination of your suffering, you can readily do it. Like what we have to think constantly or contemplate all the time is the impermanent nature of things. That things are not permanent. They don't last forever. Sooner or later, they will leave you or you will leave them. There will be separation from things and from people that you love. If you're not ready, if you're not prepared yourself for this happening, when it happens, it can cause sadness, sorrow, lamentation in your heart. But if you constantly minding your mind, reminding yourself that we live in the impermanent world in which there will be separation, if we just keep on reminding the mind of this, we will then not forget. We will prepare the mind for the separation. When the separation happens, the mind will not be affected. The mind will just be calm and peaceful, acknowledging the truth that sooner or later we will all have to go our different ways. Like the mind and the body comes together at the time of conception, and it stays together in the womb of the mother. Then after that, it comes out of the womb. I should say they come out of the womb, both the body and the mind. And the mind is the master. The body is the servant. The mind directs, tells the body what to do. Like tonight, your mind tell your body to come to Wat Yannasangwararam. If you don't tell the body to come here, your body will not be here. If you tell the body to go to your friend's house instead, then the body will be at your friend's house and not at Wat Yannasangwararam. So the mind is the master, the one who controls the body. But it can only control the body to a certain extent. There are things in the body that the mind cannot control. That is the process of aging, sickness, and death. This is something beyond the ability of the mind to control the body. If the mind clings to the body and has desire for the body to last forever, to not get old, to not get sick, when the body gets old, gets sick, or die, the mind will be unhappy. The mind will be strongly affected. Some people, when they get cancer, terminal cancer, and the doctor tells them that they only have 3 months to live, the mind already lost the appetite to live. In fact, the body can still last for another 3 months. And there are lots of things that you can do in 3 months' time. But when people don't have the Dhamma, they don't know how to cope with this situation. All they could do was either looking for ways to cure the cancer. If they can't, sometimes they want to end their life because they don't want to go through the physical pain. But if you have studied the Dhamma and have learned how to cope with the aging, sickness, and death of the body, you will not be affected by the happening of the body. So this is where we come to do. What we come to do is to train the mind to cope with the eventuality of the body. That one day the body will have to get old, one day the body will have to get sick, and it will be painful. But the mind can rise, can transcend above this sickness, this physical pain, if the mind knows how to stay calm. So this is where the meditation comes into play. We are sitting in meditation in order to calm our mind. We are learning how to calm our mind. So in times of stress, in times of physical sickness, we can calm the mind. And if the mind is calm, the mind can still be happy, can still be blissful, without having to worry about the physical pain. The physical pain will not be strong enough to disturb the happiness that the mind has acquired from being calm. So this is very important, because we all will have to go through process of separation, losing things that we love, losing people that we love, and even have to lose this body, our body, finally. But we will be able to do it peacefully and happily. This is how the Buddha and all the noble disciples deal with their passing away. Their mind is not affected. Their minds were not affected by the passing away of the body, or by the pain that arises during the time of sickness, or the difficulty that one has to endure during old age. This thing will be considered to be minimal, no big deal to the mind, if the mind is peaceful and calm. But if we don't know how to calm the mind, the delusion will tell the mind to reject the sickness of the body, the pain that arises from the body. When the mind does that, the mind will create more stress and more suffering. So we need to develop calm, and once we have developed calm, the next thing is to know how to keep it calm during the time of stress. During the time of stress, when we cannot enter into samadhi, into full concentration, we have to use vipassana or the panya, which means the knowledge that will instruct the mind to stay calm. The knowledge that will keep the mind calm is the fact that everything is impermanent. Everything is beyond our control. We cannot do anything when things go beyond our control. The only thing we can do is to be calm. And the way to be calm is not to have any desire for the things that you cannot control to be under your control. You have to let go. If you cannot fix the body, if you cannot cure the body, you just have to let the body be. If you let it be, your mind will have no stress. Your mind will remain calm and peaceful. So this is the practice of meditation that we try to develop in order to be able to control the mind. We cannot control everything, but we can control the mind. The mind can be under our control if we have mindfulness or sati, samadhi or calm, panya or knowledge or insight. These are the three Dhamma that is necessary to keep the mind peaceful and calm and happy at all times, regardless of what may happen. You might have to lose your loved ones, you might have to lose your job, you might have to lose whatever you have, and you might have to lose your body. But with the mind that is trained to face this situation, when they happen, the mind can remain peaceful and calm and blissful or happy. So this is what we come here tonight for, to learn how to keep the mind calm. And the tool that will make the mind calm is called sati or mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that you have to first develop before you can calm your mind. If you have no mindfulness or little mindfulness, when you sit in meditation, you cannot focus on your meditation subject. You might be able to focus briefly, then your mind will dash to think about this and that. If you just let the mind think about this and that, then your mind will never be peaceful. You can sit maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you will feel the desire to get up, because you cannot control your thought, which wants to think about getting up and go do something else. But if you have strong mindfulness, you can focus your mind on your meditation subject. Be a mantra like the recitation of the Buddha's name, Bhutto, Bhutto, or watching your breath. If you can focus or concentrate on either of these two subjects of meditation and stay with it continuously, then your mind will gradually converge, become one, and become peaceful and calm. When the mind has totally converged, then you don't need to maintain your meditation subject anymore, because the mind has already stopped thinking. So this is where you have to try to achieve from your meditation. But before you can achieve this, you must try to develop meditation before. I'm sorry. I mean, you have to develop mindfulness before you sit down and meditate. You can develop mindfulness all day long, not all the time that you are awake. From the time that you open your eyes, you should start your mindfulness. Be it on a mantra. If you use the mantra, then start reciting Bhutto, Bhutto. Don't allow your mind to think about this and that, unless you have to think of something that you have to do for the day, like planning your activity for the day. You can then stop your mantra temporarily and think about what you have to do. Once you have done that, then you should stop thinking and come back to your mantra, come back to your Bhutto, to your mental recitation. Just recite Bhutto, Bhutto mentally while you get up, go to the bathroom, to wash, to get dressed, to go out, to work. Be mindful, have Bhutto all the time while you do these activities, because you don't have to think. If you have to think, it's very briefly, like putting on your shirt, putting on your clothes. You can use Bhutto all the time until the time you have to work and you have to think about the work that you have to do. Then you have to stop reciting Bhutto until you finish doing whatever you have to do. Once you don't have to think about your work, then you should come back to your mantra, to your mental recitation. Keep reciting Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. If you can maintain this level of mindfulness, when you sit in meditation and focus on your meditation subject, if you use the mantra, you can continue on with your mantra if you like. If you want to use your breath as your meditation subject, you can also do that. You can use either one of them. If your mindfulness is strong, the mind will not go think about other things. It will stay with your mantra, or it will stay with your breath, and it will gradually become calmer and calmer, and eventually it will stop thinking. Sometimes it can even separate from the body. The body will disappear from the awareness. All you have is the knowing, the knower. But there's nothing to know except emptiness and peace and neutrality of mind. No emotion. The mind is completely neutral. No like or dislike. This is the result that you will get from sitting, using mindfulness to keep your mind focused on your meditation subject. Once the mind becomes peaceful and rested, let it rest for as long as possible. Don't do anything with the mind except maintain your mindfulness. Maintain your awareness of the state of mind at that time. If you should see or hear things in your meditation, don't pay attention to them. Keep paying attention to your meditation subject. If you don't, you can be misled. What you see or what you hear, although it might be interesting or wonderful, it is not beneficial to the mind because it will make the mind active again, makes the mind have desire, makes the mind not discontent. So you must try not to pay attention to whatever might come up during your meditation. You should just keep on focusing on your meditation subject until the mind finally converge to become one, to become the knower, to be peaceful and calm and have nothing to experience, nothing to see or nothing to hear. Then you should let the mind remain in that state for as long as possible, because it will strengthen your mind. It will give your mind the strength to resist your desire when you come out of your meditation. The longer you stay in that state of peace of mind, the stronger will be your resistance to your desire. This is the prerequisite to the development of vipassana bhavana or insight meditation. Insight meditation you do when after you come out of your samadhi, come out of your state of calm. When your mind withdraws from the state of calm and start to think, start to receive knowledges that come through your senses, like your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. When you see things, when you hear things, your mind will start to have desire for them. Either desire to have them or desire to get rid of them. When that happens, you must use vipassana knowledge, the knowledge that the Buddha teaches us to develop, is to leave everything alone, because they are harmful to the mind. Whether you like it or dislike it, you have to leave them alone. Don't have any desire for them. If you have desire for the things you like, you will have to go chase after it. And when you get it, it will only give you a temporary happiness. Then it will disappear. And you will have to chase after more things to make you happy. It is better not to go after things. It is better just to remain peaceful and calm, because you can always have this peace and calm and the happiness that associated with it. So this is what vipassana is about. It's about teaching your mind not to seek happiness with things, with people, with what you see, with what you hear, with what you feel, what you touch, what you smell, or what you taste, because they are temporary happiness, and they can become miserable when you cannot get what you want. So this is what you have to keep telling your mind, that everything that the mind thinks is good is actually not good, because they are anicca, impermanent, temporary. They are anatta. You cannot control them. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't get them. When you get them, you're happy. When you don't get them, you become sad. So it's better not to have them at all. It's better to have just peace of mind and the happiness that arises from peace of mind. So this is what you will have to do when you come out of your meditation. When you start to have desire to drink something that you don't really have to, don't drink. If you want to drink for the body, just drink plain water, for instance. Don't drink the beverage with taste like sweetness or sour, because this is a kind of desire that can get you hooked to them. Once you are hooked to them, you have to keep on drinking them. And when you cannot drink them, you become unhappy. This is the work of vipassana, to teach the mind not to rely on anything for happiness. Rely only on peace of mind for happiness. Come back to meditate more, or come back to your meditation subject, like the mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto. Every time you want something that you don't have to have, just repeat Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. After a while, you'll forget what you want to have. This is the way that you will be able to eliminate all your desire. And when there are no desire in your mind will be pure. Your mind will be always peaceful and happy, because the mind doesn't have to rely on anything to make it happy. It can be happy on its own. It doesn't need anything, doesn't have anything, doesn't have to have anything. Even the body, should the body die anytime, the mind would not be affected by the dissolution of the body, because the mind is content, is happy, is peaceful and calm. So this is what your goal is to make your mind calm and peaceful and happy by letting go of your desire, letting go of your attachment to things and people. Try to meditate more and more, as much as possible. When you have experienced some of the result from your meditation, you will get strong encouragement to practice more. And the more you practice, the more the result you will have. Then eventually you will want to practice all the time, because there's nothing in this world that is as good as the happiness that arises from your meditation. But when you first start on this journey, you have to have faith in the Buddha, that this is the right path for you, the path to the end of suffering, the path to the real happiness, the eternal kind of happiness. Because the mind is eternal. The mind doesn't die with the body. And the happiness that the mind can create by being calm will stay with the mind forever. This is the faith you have to have in the Buddha and in the noble disciple. Believing that the noble disciple, they were just like us. Before they became noble disciples, they were just like us, who are full of desire and full of suffering. But after having heard of the Dhamma teaching, they follow that teaching wholeheartedly, completely, and put their total effort into the practice. And after practicing, they eventually became the noble disciples. And then they helped the Buddha spread the teaching further. They are the people that you can trust, the Buddha and the noble disciple. Anytime you have any doubt, go to their teaching, study their life, their biography, how they live, how they struggle with their problems, how they solve their problems. Use their way, use their example. Every time you feel discouraged, the Buddha said you should reflect, you should think of the Buddha and the noble disciple, or think of the Buddha's teaching. Then you will become encouraged again. Every time you listen to a Dhamma talk or read Dhamma books, you will be energized. You will have the energy to practice more. So it's important that you should keep studying the Dhamma teaching on a regular basis. Listening to Dhamma talks, read Dhamma books, especially the books written by the noble disciples, the books that the Buddha himself taught. Because if you read books that are written by other people who hasn't become enlightened yet, they can mislead you because they themselves don't know the real truth yet. So you have to be discriminating when you study the Dhamma teaching. Make sure that you get from the original source, from the enlightened ones themselves. Like all the suttas, the discourses, they are the words of the Buddha. They are the words that you can trust, you can follow. You have to keep studying because you can forget if you only study once in a while. And then you can misinterpret the teaching. But if you keep studying the teaching as well as practicing, this thing has to go together. You don't study first, then practice separately. No, you have to do both. You study, you listen to a Dhamma talk, then you apply it in your practice. Then after a while, you come back and listen to more Dhamma talks, and then you will gain more knowledge. You will understand better, deeper, the differences, the different ways of practicing. And if you have questions, you should seek the advice of the ones who have the experience. If you seek from someone who doesn't have experience, they can mislead you because they themselves don't know the answer. But they don't want to say no, that they don't know. So they might tell you something that they think might solve your problem, but that's not good enough. You should have someone who knows, who have the experience. They can tell you the correct answer, the correct way of overcoming your problem. So I think for tonight, I've spoken quite enough, and I will let you have questions.
Okay, Ajahn, sadhu, Ajahn. So for my brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions about this talk, you can ask as well. In the meantime, I have questions, Ajahn. Is it possible to reach the highest stage of noble attainments by keeping only the 5 precepts? Thank you, Ajahn.
The 5 precepts is not enough. In order to achieve any result from your meditation, you need at least the 8 precepts, because the 5 precepts cannot get rid of your hindrance, the kama, chanta, your sensual desire, your desire to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch. But when you take up the 8 precepts, then the 8 precepts will tell you to stop this desire. Like when you have the desire to sleep with your husband or your wife, if you take the 8 precepts, then you cannot do it. Then you will have the time to meditate. If you keep the 5 precepts, you are allowed to sleep with your spouse, but you will lose precious time. You won't have the time to meditate. And after your sexual activity, you'll be too tired. You want to go to sleep instead. So if you want to have the time to meditate, then you should keep the 8 precepts. Besides the desire to sleep with your spouse, you will also have the desire to watch movies, entertainment, or desire to go outside, to go to parties, to meet friends, to do all sorts of activities. This will take away your precious time. You want to eliminate all the activities that will take your precious time away. You want to have all the time for your meditation. This is for people who want to really practice. Like people who observe the 8 precepts usually do it on the holiday. Like once a week, the Buddha said that Buddhists should stop working, should stop finding happiness through their body, and come find happiness through their mind by keeping the 8 precepts and go to stay in the temple, especially the temple that is quiet and peaceful, and there shouldn't be any group activities. If you want to meditate, you should seek seclusion. You should be alone, because then it will be easier for you to develop mindfulness, and you can pick the time you want, whether you want to walk or sit. But if you have group meditation, you have group activities, then you have schedule that will interrupt your individual practice. So it's better to practice individually if you want to advance quickly. But when you first start, you might have to start with group meditation like you're doing tonight. That's because if you're alone, you don't have the willpower to force yourself to meditate. So you have to drive half an hour to the temple in order to meditate. But once you know how to meditate, you can meditate at home. Just go into a room where you can be by yourself and meditate. You don't have to drive all the way to the temple. But coming to the temple may be good if you want to listen to the Dhamma talk, if there's one. Or if you cannot force yourself to sit alone yet, then you might need your peers, your friends, to accompany you, to give you the willpower to sit. But once you can sit alone, it's better to be alone, because you need a quiet surrounding. When you sit with other people, some people might cough, some people might move. This can affect your concentration. But when you're alone, then you can be free from all this distraction. And you can maintain mindfulness continuously and achieve the result very quickly. So yes, to answer the question whether you need to have the 8 precepts or not, you have to. You might ask why some lay people in the past can achieve the highest level of enlightenment without having to become a monk. That's because these people, they already have developed a strong mind, a strong base of their mind. They have samadhi, they have a calm mind, and they already had kept the 8 precepts, or even had been ordained as monks in their past lives. So they have already developed this. Even though they don't show it in this life, they still have that inside their mind. So when they listen to the Buddha's teaching, they can understand and do exactly what the Buddha tells them to do. So this is exception. For most people, they have to go from 5 precepts to 8 precepts, then to become an ordainee, to become a monk or to become a bhikkhuni. You need to be alone and have 24 hours of your time meditating. Then you can achieve that result. The Buddha said if you can do this, you can achieve it in 7 days. If not 7 days, then 7 months. If not 7 months, the maximum is 7 years. But you have to be living like a monk, have no other activity except meditation and development of insight or vipassana bhavana. This is my answer to your question.
Okay, Ajahn, thank you. So the next question is how much concentration is required for one to develop real insight in the practice and to attain at least stream entry?
Well, your mind has to enter the 4th jhana when it becomes totally detached from the body. Then it can see that without the body, it can still be happy. Once it understands this truth, then when it comes out of this jhana, this 4th level of jhana, we call appana samadhi, then it can instruct the mind to relinquish the body, to leave the body alone. See, because it knows that it can be happy without the body. So after you come out of this 4th jhana, then you tell the mind to leave the body alone. Should the body get old, leave it alone. Should the body get sick, leave it alone. Should the body be painful, leave it alone. The mind will have the mental strength to just be detached, just to be aware of the physical pain, but has no desire to have the pain removed. Because if you have the desire to have the pain removed, you're not leaving the body alone. You're not seeing the body as not yourself. You're still seeing that the body is yourself. See? It's like you're looking at other people get sick. You leave them alone, right? You don't want to go remove the pain from their bodies because you know you cannot do it. So too is your body. It's the same thing. You cannot remove the pain from your body. But you can live with the pain. If you have a strong base of calm, if your mind has come out of the 4th jhana, then you can have a strong mental, what you call ubekkha, equanimity, remain neutral, peaceful and calm, and leave the body alone, leave the physical pain alone. Or even at the time of death, just leave the body alone, let it die. If you can do this, then you can achieve the 1st level of noble attainment, the stream enterer level. You have realized or you have understood that the body is not yourself, and you can leave the body alone. Your mind is not affected by whatever happens to your body. Your body seems like another people's body. You treat your body like you treat other people's body. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. There's a similar question. The other one is jhana is a must in our meditation practice, or mindfulness practice is enough to see inside or to see
Not
the
enough.
Dhamma?
You see the Dhamma, but you don't have the strength. You don't have the strength to let go of your attachment. It's only when you have jhana, that's when you have let go of your attachment. But you only let go temporarily in your samadhi. After you come out of your samadhi, your attachment returns. That's when you have to use vipassana, use the knowledge that the body is not yourself, that the body is impermanent, that if you cling to your body, then your mind will become painful, your mind will become stressful. If you don't want to be stressful, you don't want to be painful, then you have to let go of the body. If you have jhana, you will have the strength to let go. If you don't have jhana, you don't have the strength to let go. Okay.
Okay, Ajahn. The next question. Is it a must to practice mindfulness in our daily life in order to help us to see insight or wisdom in the Dhamma?
No, you need mindfulness to help you meditate to enter into jhana first. Because if you don't have jhana, no matter how much you know about the Dhamma, like you have read so much about the Dhamma already, you know that the body doesn't belong to you, you know that the body will get old, get sick and die. But every time you think of it, your mind becomes unhappy because your mind still clings to your body. See? But if you have jhana, your mind will become detached. And when you come out, you can direct your mind, tell your mind to let go. Because clinging to the body is more painful than letting go. When you let go of the body, it's like entering into jhana. When you cling to your body, it's like holding on to a hot coal, a burning coal, which is painful. You can see the difference if you have the jhana. If you don't have a calm mind, a peaceful mind, a jhana mind, you cannot see the difference between clinging and unclinging, between attachment and detachment. Understand?
Okay, Ajahn. The next question. How do we know when our mind is calm enough to practice contemplation, and how and what do I do to contemplate to develop wisdom?
Like I said, jhana is something that you will know right away when you have found it. It's something out of this world. It's something that you would have never experienced before in your life. You have to, sometimes it happens when your mind just suddenly drop, like falling from a tall building, falling into a well, then become still, peaceful and happy. For most people, the first time will be briefly, very it happens suddenly and then it will return back to normal right away. But at least you could feel the happiness that you have experienced, even though for just a moment or so. But if you continue on to meditate more and more, I mean almost all day long, either sitting or walking, then when you sit, your mind will become peaceful and calm, enter into jhana for longer duration. The longer the duration, the stronger the ability to detach, to let go. So this is what you have to develop first. Once you have this ability, when you think of the body as impermanent, as something that doesn't belong to you, that if you cling to the body, you will cling to a burning fire. You will see this, and then you will want to let go of the body. When you let go, you'll find that the body return into jhana, into peace, into happiness. So this is the level of jhana that you have to develop.
Okay, Ajahn. So the next question is, mindfulness and thinking is not the same. Can please Tan Ajahn elaborate on this?
Mindfulness is to be aware of one subject, one object, like a mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, or being mindful, aware of your body activity from the time you get up. As soon as your body rise from your sleeping position to sit down, to stand up, to walking, your mindfulness will have to be there right away. Just to know about the body activity only, not to think about other things. If you think about other things, then you're not mindful of your body anymore. Or you can be mindful of your mantra by reciting Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto during your activity. This is being mindful. Thinking is like you think about what to do, where to go. This is thinking. See? Thinking can be good and it can also be bad. But for most people, we usually think about bad things. Think about hurting ourselves. What do you mean by hurting yourself? I mean thinking about greed, hate, and delusion. Normally this is how our mind, an enlightened person might think. When it sees something, it wants to have it, right? It wants to possess. It wants to cling to them. See, this is bad thoughts. To think good thought, you should, when you see something you like, you say, no, you should not have it. Because it is impermanent. It can cause you suffering. Because you will be possessive, you will be attached, and when you lose that thing, you will become unhappy. So this is what you have to train your mind to think in a different direction, not possessing, but letting go, giving up. But normally it's hard to do if your mind has no calm, no jhana, because you have nothing to replace the kind of happiness that you seek from things. But when you have jhana, when you have happiness inside your mind, then you can tell your mind not to get this or that thing, to have this or that thing, not to possess anything, because you have a way of making yourself happy without having to have those things to make you happy anymore. Okay.
Okay, Tan Ajahn. The next question will be, in order for one to gain any significant improvement in one's own meditation practice, generally how long, in terms of how many hours per session that, or how frequently that this practitioner have to do meditation? Is there any general guideline for this, Tan Ajahn? Thank you.
I think there's a saying. I say, practice make perfect. So the more you practice, I think, the more you'll become perfect. So the Buddha said you have to strive, you have to have virya, diligence to practice. The more hour you put in, the better result you will get eventually. It's like a sport. If you want to be a good athlete, you have to put in the practice. You have to train yourself. If you are a runner, marathon runner, you have to run every day. If you run it once a month, then you won't be able to run a marathon. This is the same thing. If you want to have mindfulness, strong mindfulness, you have to keep developing, maintaining mindfulness at all times. If you want to have jhana, you have to sit and meditate many, many hours until you eventually get that result. No other way. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. So the next questions. I have been meditating earnestly, but realize more thoughts are coming to my mind when I meditate. So is it the correct way? Sadhu.
When you meditate and you still have thoughts coming inside, that means you don't have strong mindfulness. You have to try to develop mind.
Okay. Okay, Ajahn. So the next question is, how much sleep typically should a yogi have?
I think you should first turn off the speaker.
Oh, can't hear, is it, Ajahn? Sorry, Ajahn.
No, I can hear you, but there's feedback.
Oh, okay. So, is it better, Ajahn?
No, just like when we started. Before I talk, when I talk, I did not hear my voice. Yeah. Okay. I'll turn it off. Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ajahn.
What is the question again? I forget.
Okay. How much sleep typically a yogi should have?
Normally, the Buddha said 4 hours a night. From 6 to 10 o'clock, you meditate. This is he teaches the monk, not the lay people. From 6 to 10, monks should meditate, either walking or sitting. And then from 10 to 2 o'clock, monks take a rest, go to sleep. Reclining on the right side of the body, called the lion's posture. And before go to sleep, maintain mindfulness, reminding the mind that as soon as the body wakes up, he should get up and start practicing again. So he'll sleep until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And from 2 o'clock he should start meditate by sitting and walking until dawn, until the time for going to Bintabata, going on alms round, which is about 6 o'clock, from 2 to 6. This is not the normal length of time that the Buddha recommends for monks to sleep. Some monks sleep even less. Some monks take the tree posture, dutanka. That is not to lay down, just to stand, sit, or walk. And if he should fall asleep, he should be in either one of these three positions. By maintaining this kind of observance, you will force the body to sleep very little, maybe 1 or 2 hours. If you sit and sleep, you don't sleep for a long time. Then you will have more time for your practice. In order to be able to do this, you have to sleep. You have to eat very little, because the more you eat, the more you want to sleep. The less you eat, the more alert you become. Some people fast for days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Then their mind becomes very alert and they don't need to sleep a lot. But when you eat a lot, you become drowsy right away after you finish eating. And you don't want to do anything but seek the pillow. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. So the next question is, in the sutta, it is written that one should seek seclusion by going into the forest to look for the caves or sit under the tree. So I suppose that is for the monastic or for the monks. So for lay people, how do we apply this? Maybe by staying or practicing alone at home, is it okay, Ajahn?
If you can have a room to yourself, if you have air conditioning, just shut the window, shut the doors, and turn on the air conditioner. And then you put a sign outside, do not disturb. Turn off your phone, turn off everything that can disturb you. Then it's like being in the forest.
Okay, Ajahn. So the next question is, how can I practice for my long-term happiness?
If you want to have long-term happiness, you have to have long-term practice. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. The next one will be, sorry, yeah. Around 7 or 8 years back, I remember that I'm doing Dana offering with much joy. But now it seems I have lost much of this joy of offering Dana. So how can I get back to the same level of joy and enthusiasm? Thank you, Ajahn.
Giving dana is the first step of having spiritual happiness. But the mind is like the body. When you're first born, you can drink milk and be happy with drinking milk. But as your body grows bigger, you find that drinking milk alone is not enough. So you have to have something more, something heavier, like rice and meat or vegetable, in order to make you feel full. That's the same way with the Dhamma practice. When you first start, your mind is like an infant. So when you give dana, you feel very happy. But after a while, your mind become accustomed to this happiness, and it wants something stronger, something heavier, something more. That's why you have to start keeping the precepts, the 5 precepts. When you keep the 5 precepts, you feel happier, more happier than giving dana. And after you have kept the 5 precepts for a while, you feel that you need something more. So you have to keep the 8 precepts. And keeping the 8 precepts, you have to also practice meditation, because these two go hand in hand, go together. If you want to practice meditation, you should keep the 8 precepts. When you keep the 8 precepts and meditate, you will have more happiness, bigger happiness. And once you have developed jhana, you want more happiness than that, because jhana can give you temporary happiness. You're happy when you're in meditation in jhana. But when you come out of your jhana, your mind can start to think and desire for things, and it can make you lose that happiness. So if you want to have longer happiness, lasting happiness, you have to use vipassana. You have to use panya, which is anicca dukkha anatta. You have to contemplate on anicca dukkha anatta on every aspect of everything that you see, that you are involved with. You have to teach your mind that you have to let go, because they don't belong to you. Sooner or later, the original owner will come and take it away from you. Who is the original owner? They are the 4 elements: the earth, water, fire, and wind. These are the things that make up everything in this world, including human body and animal body. Eventually, the human body will dissolve and return to the 4 elements. So this is something you have to teach your mind, remind your mind, and tell your mind to be ready to give it up when the time comes. If you think like this, then your mind will not want to have anything, because no matter how much you have, one day you will lose it all. So it's better to have something that you will not lose it. That something is peace of mind. Peace of mind that you can achieve by sitting in meditation and letting go of everything by the development of vipassana or panya. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn. So next questions. I heard if a monk disrobes, it will create negative karma. Is it true? And if it's true, how about temporary ordination? Thank you, Ajahn.
It's like retiring from your school. You study in the university for 2 years, then you say, I don't want to study anymore. So you retire. So you don't achieve what you should achieve. So it's like, walking back. That's all.
Okay, Ajahn. So the last questions for today will be, Thailand has long been well known for being Buddhist country. However, after I travel many places in Thailand, there are weapons like knives or guns are being sold in many places. On the same note, I have seen many Thais, both in Thailand and also here in Singapore, are heavy drinkers. I have been to Laos, but I didn't notice many Laotians drinking alcohol, as consuming mostly by tourists. So what is Ajahn take on this? Thank you, Ajahn.
In Thailand, even though most people are considered Buddhist, they are not true Buddhists because they never study the teaching of the Buddha. The only thing they do that is considered to be Buddhist is to pay respect to the Buddha and to the monks and give dana. But they never keep the precept. They never stay away from the vices like drinking, gambling, going out at night, or keeping bad people company, or being lazy, because they never go to the temple to listen to the Dhamma talk. They only Buddhist in the sense that this is how their ancestors were, but they themselves really are not true Buddhists. They don't practice the complete teaching of the Buddha. They only practice very little. Giving dana, they might only do it on special occasion, like on their birthday, on New Year's Day, or something like that. And if they go to a temple, they just might drop a few coins into the donation box, and then pay respect by giving incense and flowers to the Buddha image. Or sometimes if they have bad luck, they might go to the temple and ask for forgiveness. This is not the teaching of the Buddha. This is like worshipping idol, which is not the Buddha. The Buddha image is only to remind us that of his teaching, that we should study his teaching and then follow his teaching. But that's not the case with most Thai people. I think nowadays, people in other countries know more Buddhism than Thai do. There are many foreigners who come to Thailand to seek ordination or ordain and stay as monks. But Thai people, if they ordain, it's only for a ritual, as a ritual thing, as a duty. It's believed in Thailand that if you become a monk, you will have paid your due to your father and your mother. That's all they do for. And when they ordain, they only counting the days to disrobe. So these people are not really considered to be true Buddhists. They don't keep the precept on the regular basis. They don't practice meditation. They don't study the Dhamma. They don't listen to the Dhamma talk. So this is what you get when you don't follow the Buddha's teaching.
Okay, Ajahn, thank you so much. That's our last questions. So maybe I can ask what is Ajahn message to prepare us to meet Ajahn again next week. Thank you, Ajahn.
You want me to what?
Maybe last message from Ajahn for today to prepare us to meet Tan Ajahn again next week, next sessions.
To practice hard. Practice more, because practice will give you the result. But before practice, you should study the teaching first in order to know the proper way of practice. Once you know, then don't hesitate. Throw in your effort. Concentrate all your effort, all your time, as much as you can. Because the result will only happen from your practice, not by your study. Study Dhamma by itself is not enough to bring you the result. If it does, you should be enlightened by now, because you have been listening to Dhamma talk for almost an hour already. But see, by listening to the Dhamma talk, you still cannot apply the Dhamma teaching to let go of your defilements, your desire, your kilesa. So this is what you have to do. You have to build the strength of mind to apply the Buddha's teaching in giving up, letting go of everything. So please maintain mindfulness every day from the time you get up. And tell me next time how much you have maintained your mindfulness. How long can you maintain mindfulness from the time you get up? Can you maintain from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep? This is the homework for you. Okay?
Okay, Ajahn, thank you. So we all say sadhu to Tan Ajahn. We'll pay respect to Tan Ajahn first.
Let's put our palms together.
Let me give you the anumodana. Okay, pay respect first, then I'll give you the anumodana. Yā thā vāri vāha pura pari purenti sākarang eva meva ito tinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samicchato sapphe purentu sankapa janto panaraso yatha manicchoti araso yatha sappitiyo vivachanto sapparo vinassatu ma te bhavatavantarayo sukhi khayuko bhava Abhivatanasi litsa niccang vuttha pacayino jataro dhamma vatanti ayuvano sukhang phalang. Okay, don't turn off the Skype yet. I want to discuss some technical aspect of tonight's connection. Is it good enough? Because
it is very good, Ajahn, here. We can hear Ajahn very loud and clear.
Because this time I'm using a tablet instead of a laptop, and I think it gives me a clear picture of you also. Last time I could hardly see your faces, but this tablet is very clear. Yeah. And the sound to you is okay also, right?
Yes, Ajahn. It's very good, Ajahn.
Okay. I also have to let you know that my internet connection here is very unstable. Someday it just disappears. So should there be no connection to the internet, then I'll call you on the phone instead. And you can connect the phone to the speaker. And you can still hear me.
Yes, Ajahn. We actually have contingency plan, and we already tested all the voice call recording as well. So we are able to record as well, Ajahn.
Okay, and if you want to see my face, just project a picture of me onto the screen. It's the same thing.
Yes, Ajahn. That's what we plan to do, Ajahn. But we hope the transmission is good for the next few sessions, Ajahn.
Okay. Well then, good night to you, all of you. Sleep well.
Good night, Ajahn. Sadhu, Ajahn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.